I crushed loneliness with 5 easy steps. I'm Dave, I'm 52 years old, and this is my journey on a quest to grow younger. Now, in today's video, this is part of my No Fear series, and we're talking about loneliness today. Ever thought that loneliness was just part of getting older? Guess what? Doesn't have to be. So if you're feeling like the life of the party has somehow left without you, I've been there, and man, it can be depressing. So in this adventure, I'm going to share how I changed my mindset, overcame the anxiety, and conquered loneliness. And I do it with these 5 adjustments. Hey. Thanks for coming by. Welcome to my adventures. And today I'm going to share some adjustments that help me keep loneliness at bay. Sadly, it's all too common to come across someone's social media account where they post, "I have no friends," yet they have 500,000 followers. Seems to add credibility to the saying that you can be in a crowd and still be lonely. I can't count the number of friends that I have that have confided in me that they're really lonely. And at first, I tend to blame this disconnect on technology, but it's been an issue for decades. I had my own long bout of loneliness myself. When I was living in California, it seemed like my friends slowly disappeared and abandoned me. Everyone busy with life, careers, their families, and I was in my 40s and still a single guy. So I moved to Florida. And guess what? Location did not instantly grow me new friends or conquer loneliness. Instead, it showed me that I had to work at this. Same place, new place. It was time for me to make my first adjustment. I needed to become a social superhero. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, invisible cape. To be a superhero meant that I had to get rid of the non-hero, which was the old me. This meant dumping all those social media dating apps. I say this from my own experience because, like forever, I mistakenly thought that if I just found the right person to marry or live with, all my loneliness would go away. Sure, that might help, but only Cupid can make love happen at the snap of a finger. And we all have much more higher expectations from a romance or a partnership than from a friend. So I needed to restart with the basics. And you know what? I was determined to find new friends, not dates. A few friends that I could depend on to do things with once a week, like go to the movies, dinner, out dancing, a theme park, or just hang out and watch TV. So I made it my mission to be more social, even when I didn't feel like it. I realized nobody's out there with a checklist of how awkward I am. And I'm pretty goofy. Yeah, but people enjoyed that. And they were just happy I showed up. So I started small, talking to strangers, at the grocery store, striking up conversations with the neighbors, even attending those awkward office parties, especially, when I was single and most everyone else had families. Well, I'm no longer the guy sitting in the corner with a fruit plate. I'm the guy who starts the conversations. I'm even on my own YouTube channel. Oh, you already knew that. Sorry. So my first adjustment was to simply show up, put on my invisible social cape, and become a social superhero. So easy, anyone can do it. Adjustment 2 was helping out others. Not only at social events, but online too. Now, socializing doesn't always have to be face-to-face. I started reaching out online, joining forums, and simply offering advice or chit chat with others who felt like me or had an issue where I could empathize. Before I knew it, I was helping people out, guys my age, through shared experiences, and many of them became good friends. Lending an ear is many times an excellent way to help out. It gets me out of my own head and connected with people, even if it is behind a screen. The wonderful world we live in is unfortunately crowded with a lot of lonely people. And I discovered that if I turned the focus off of myself and onto them, I soon didn't feel so lonely anymore. Sure, it may seem like the other Mr. Lonely guy is sucking all the energy out of me at first, but after adapting and expecting that, spending time and just listening to someone else, I was helping them be less lonely, and they were helping me be less lonely too. Sometimes it's hard to shut up and just listen, especially for someone like me who babbles on nonstop on YouTube all the time. But it's a great way to let someone else into my life. And then both of us are less lonely. Or at least, that's how it seems to work for me. And another way I like to connect is within online groups. Have you discovered these? I mean, they're awesome. There are entire communities out there just waiting to welcome me, and you too. I mean, from Facebook to Reddit, there's everything from Jeeps to movies to theme parks. Now, my third adjustment was to engage in hobbies. In a previous video, I mentioned this as something that I also focus on in rediscovering value in my life. And hobbies just have this magical ability to pull me out of my own mind. And when I'm focused on something I enjoy, suddenly the loneliness starts to fade. I'm not just keeping busy, I'm adding value to the day, plus I'm creating something that someone else might actually think is kind of cool. And this adjustment kind of complements the last one nicely. You can join an online hobby group and help people out in the same area that you're interested in and share your tips and experience. My fourth adjustment is I focus on the physical body. Yeah. When my body moves, my mind and my mood improves. When I moved to Florida and became the social superhero I talked about earlier, I combined my social plan along with my gym routine, and I would strike up conversations with people there. Now, most people love helping others out, so I'd stop people and ask questions about how to do this or how they did something else. And at first I thought my questions were stupid and that I already knew the answer. But surprisingly, I learned all kinds of new things and tips simply by asking questions. And I'd go for walks on my breaks at the office and stop and say hello to people along the way there too. And adjustment number 5, seek professional and spiritual engagement. Okay, so finally, let's talk about the big thing, seeking help when I need it. Now, I started talking to a professional and getting some guidance and taking a deeper look at my mental and spiritual health too. And I add, with caution, because there was a medical professional that put me on these drugs that simply caused me to have more depression and just didn't help out my situation. So I caution against seeing someone whose only answer is popping pills when maybe all I needed to do was talk with somebody. So after getting the right help, what a game changer. And I know finding the right help can be as challenging and as frightening as loneliness itself. I've been there. So what I did was try and surround myself with people in my community. Even a church, and I'm a person that doesn't like religion much. But there are local community churches that can help you build friendships. And there's a host of other options, such as lodges, clubs, even gaming groups, and much more. And all of these were great decisions I made. And maybe I didn't always find the answers I was looking for, but I did find myself. So 5 adjustments that helped me conquer loneliness was I became a social superhero, helped others online, got back into my hobbies, focused on my physical body, and sought professional and spiritual support. Now, none of these were a quick fix, but all of them helped me progress into a less lonely life. And trust me, they are way more fun than sitting around all gloomy. Instead of sulking and feeling sorry for myself, I got up and found myself. If you're 99 years young or 31 years old, you're valued and you're loved, and you're my fellow human being and friend, and you can be a social superhero too.